I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Who are you?
In our commercial for the new motion picture comedy Porky's, we can only show you the outside of Porky's, because what happens inside is not to be believed. We can only show you this much of the locker room scene, this much of the cabin scene. But we can tell you, when you see Porky's, you'll be seeing the funniest movie about growing up ever made. Porky's. You too will be back for a second look. Rated R. Starts Friday, March 19th at a selected theater near you.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Porky's, the 1981 teen sex comedy. And by the way, if anyone wants to request pretty much any type of video, you feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or my Patreon. I will try to get to it as soon as I can. Either PayPal or Patreon, both links are down below in the info box. Now, this is part of a set I have, Porky's The Ultimate Collection, and that's kind of cool. Actually, I'll show it over here. I always forget, sometimes I put a picture over here, and then I forget after the fact, so I'm holding something that's covering the fucking thing. So let me put it over here. See, it's kind of like the neon sign in front of the club that's featured in the first movie in particular. And the series of films consist of, you have the third film, Porky's Revenge. You have the second film, Porky's 2, The Next Day. And then you have the original Porky's. I guess the best way to call this film, it's the American Pie of its day. That's really the best way to describe it. A bunch of teenage kids in high school, and most of the film is just the shenanigans with either trying to get laid, maybe have another actual plot in there. In this case, a way to show raunchy comedy, nudity. Although, in a way, this is the raunchy comedy that works for me, because it is raunchy, because you get to see nudity, top and bottom, you get some crazy situations that happen, but yet, in a weird way, it's tame compared to what you would see nowadays, because there's raunch, and then there's, nowadays, it'd be a cum joke, or 85 cum jokes, and 25 fart jokes, and, I mean, the Vacation reboot is more raunchy than this film. And this film is full frontal nudity. But the Vacation... And I think that's the problem with comedies today. One of the problems is that they keep amping it up, thus the audience gets used to it. So it's not shocking anymore. It just becomes redundant. And it just becomes lazy. Or it just becomes lame. Or it just becomes not as funny as the filmmakers tend to think. Whether it be from the years of the Farrelly Brothers and Jackass, the TV show, which I do enjoy those in the movies, but okay, they did it. You can't get any crazier. But it is funny that you look at Porky's, it's a bit, in a weird way, more innocent than a film of today. And it's directed by Bob Clark. If that name sounds familiar, he directed A Christmas Story with the BB gun. Also, he directed the original Black Christmas. He did Rhinestone with Sylvester Stallone, where he's saying, Drinkenstein, Drinkenstein. So, it's one of those things where, talented director, and people forget how big this film was. Porky's was huge. Porky's made over $100 million in its day. That was unheard of for a comedy, and that's why, I mean, yeah, you had Animal House, which was a success, but Porky's is especially why you would get a lot of these teen sex comedies throughout the 80s. Not only there were 2 sequels to this that were less popular, but, various other films. Hot Resort, Private Resort, probably, I think it was like Hot Teacher, just various other stuff. There was, I think, Joysticks, where you deal with video, like an arcade. I haven't seen Joysticks. I've heard of it. I've seen the poster. I think Joe Don Baker's in it. Anyway, getting back to this. The film follows, like you said, the shenanigans of these characters. Like, you got a character named Pee-wee, who is always thinking about sex, always wanting to get laid. I liked the actor. I thought he did a pretty decent job. And most of these actors follow through all 3 of the films. You have one big, tough character named Meat, and you can guess why he's called that. You have a few others. You have this new guy that's coming to town who is a Jewish guy. And then you have another guy who's a bit of a racist, bit of a bigot. But then you realize that he has an abusive, racist father, and the guy stands up to him. Kim Cattrall is in the film as one of the people that works. I don't know what her title would actually be, but she's called Lassie, or nicknamed Lassie, and you come to find out why that's the case. Because one coach is going out with her, and the other coach keeps going, woo! And the one guy, his name is Roy, he's going, why the hell do you keep doing that? Why don't you tell me? Take her up to that locker room, you'll find out. Woo! And you do. And I thought the film was funny. I still thought the film was funny. I still thought the film was hilarious. I liked the characters. I'm sure nowadays this would be looked at as sexist. But to be honest, the women, they're just as strong as the guys. They don't take any guff from the guys. They don't take any shit from the guys. They stand on their own. They hold up on their own as individuals. And it's really not sexist in the vein of what people think that title means. Yes, you get to see the women naked, but at times you get to see the guys naked. And the guys get played as fools. The guys get played more as fools than the ladies do. And the ladies hold their own, and there's various scenes of that which I'll get to. And also just the un-PC nature of the flick is rather refreshing. You don't see this stuff nowadays. I mean, I mentioned American Pie, but even American Pie, you didn't really see a lot of nudity. You didn't really see a whole lot of that stuff. It was more of the, hey, they came in their cup and someone drank it. That kind of raunch. I prefer this kind of raunch. It's, in a weird way, it's more of a wholesome raunch. I know that doesn't make sense. Like Pee-wee, every time he wakes up, he looks at himself, and then he writes down on a chart to see his growth. It's like, shit, it's getting smaller. See, that, I don't know if I call it clever, but that, made me laugh. That made me chuckle, that this guy keeps an actual fucking chart of it. And I think the actors did the jobs fairly well. I'm trying to remember the names of the actors. Because I'm not good with names unless I write them down. And Dan Monahan, he plays I would say the lead of these films, Pee-wee. You also have Wyatt Knight, Tony Daniels, that's the guy who plays Meat, the Italian guy, Mark Harrier, a few others. Sadly, most of these actors, they went on to do nothing else other than the Porky sequels. Maybe they're in a bit role here or a tiny bit role there. For example, the guy, Pee-wee, Dan, he was in a bit part in Baby Geniuses, another Bob Clark film. Not even one of the stars, just in it for a teeny bit. And, I mean, these were very successful for them. I don't know if they got a lot of money from it, even though these were humongously big money makers. But the first film in particular, but I guess maybe it hurt their career because they just looked at them as the Porky's guys. They go, oh, those are offensive. Don't hire those guys. Yeah, but they did a good job for what they had to do. But the dialogue at times is on PC, but at least it's kind of refreshing to hear that in this world of cancel nation, more like it. How come you don't have first four names like most rednecks? Well, actually, my cousin does. And like I said, it has a plot, which comes into play later, but it's mostly just the shenanigans and hanging out with these characters during their days of high school. Like, these guys are playing this game with eggs, and they're playing with Pee-wee, and they're about ready to hit him, but it's a hard-boiled egg. And then Pee-wee's like, let me do it. I don't know, Pee-wee. Let me do it, come on. Let me do the meat. Let me do that guy. Okay. So they gave him the eggs, but they fucked with him and gave him raw eggs. So it splashes, and then Meat chases after Pee-wee, ready to tip the shit out of him. One of the best bits is a couple of the guys says, hey, we got this hot night plan where we've hired a hooker named Cherry, and she's going to have sex with everybody, so come to this location. Okay, you're here, now strip. But as they're stripping, they go in, these two or so guys, and they've made this whole prank where they've told Cherry to act a certain way, and they've hired this big guy with a machete, and they put fake blood on him, and like, say this, say this. So the guys who are naked, ready to think they're going to have an orgy, they're hearing this, I'll kill you all, you white motherfuckers. And they're like, what? And the guy busts through with a machete with blood on it, and they freaked out. Holy shit! And they run off. Most of them fucking naked. In fact, Pee-wee, he's running so much, he's running down the road. And this is such a great shot. Two cops are driving down the road, and no music, nothing. They're driving, and they just see a naked guy running. What the hell? I wonder what the story is on this. And also, like, the cops in here, they're not ball breakers. Just usually, typically the cops are off. They're awful. They're the bad guys. No, but one of them is actually the brother of one of our characters, and they're pretty cool. So that was nice to see. It made it less typical. Which is always nice to see. Well, not always, but usually nice to see. And like I said, you have this coach going out with Tim Control, and the other guy, the other coach, he keeps howling, and the one guy, Roy's like, listen, why the hell do you keep doing that? Why do you keep yelling? Why do they call her Lassie? Take her to the locker room, you'll find out. And later on, he ultimately does. It's because Tim Control gets turned on being in the boys' locker room. She likes the smell. And then she literally jumps on the guy. And when she's having fun, she howls. And people are hearing it. And just their reaction, like, they're trying to, like, they can hear it, but they try to have basketball practice. They barely catch the basketballs. But I was mentioning, like, the women, like, there's a running gag where the boys keep looking to the shower, the peepholes, to see the ladies. And you get, this is back to the day they show all. the in between the legs, as someone says, there's so much wool you could knit a sweater. And the bazungas as well. And they don't do that nowadays because it's looked at as sexist. It's looked at as, oh, yes, I'm sorry, I'm a guy. I like naked women. Mea culpa, mea culpa. As the lights coming in from the windows, and now it's like God himself is like, yes, let there be tits. But they hold their own too. They find out what it is. A guy sticks his tongue. They put soap on it. A guy's, oh, you think that's funny, huh? So he sticks his dick in the people. And they're laughing at it. And that's the thing. They don't become victims. They're independent women. They laugh at it like, oh, whatever. The one of the female coach, yes, called ball breaker, as in ball breaker. She sees it, she grabs it, the guy can't leave. She's pulling it, and again, you don't see it. It's more the reaction, which is what makes it funnier. What makes it funnier is the reaction of the characters, not, oh my god, we saw a dick, ha ha ha. That was outrageous, right? It was so outrageous that we saw it, so... Okay. That might be outrageous, but that doesn't mean it was clever or funny or took any to be shocking. It doesn't take talent to be shocking. That's what I'm getting at. It doesn't take any amount of talent to do that. Sorry. So, what does make it funny when I talk about the reactions is also later on when she's describing it to the principal and the other coaches are laughing their asses off at this ridiculous thing she's describing that happened, and she's saying stuff like how she wants the police to be involved and she wants a lineup and I can identify the penis and there's a mole, and the guys are just laughing their asses off, and she's saying stuff like, I'm not gonna let him slip through my fingers, and their laughter is so infectious that I was laughing, and the coaches are giving her shit. Well, I said, yeah, we'll put out wanted posters. Have you seen this prick? It's armed and dangerous. I think what makes the film work are the cast of characters. That they have at least some kind of uniqueness to them. And this, again, tries to be a little bit of serious notion, like the one who's a bit of a idiot, but it's because of his dad. And he keeps calling him a kite. And then the guy who's Jewish goes, that's not what it is. It's K-I-K-E. You're too stupid. You can't be a bigot correctly. But then they start to bond with each other because he knows what's going on. The plot of the film, they go to this club, Porky's. They spend some money to maybe have some fun with some girls. But then Porky's takes all their money, tits them all out, humiliates them. His brother's the sheriff. They kick him out of the county after stealing all their money. One guy gets pissed. He's coming back to get revenge. Later he's found bloodied up, put in the hospital. So now the kids, as well as that one Coach Roy and others, they want revenge. So they come in and they fuck up Porky's place. So if you want to see what the plot is, I guess that's the plot of the flick. But it's more just the crazy raw shenanigans that, again, compared to today, is rather tame. And it's weird to say wholesome, but I didn't grow up with Porky's, but I remember seeing it 10, 20 years ago and liking it. Having fun, and I was laughing even more watch it again. I do find this flick entertaining. You know, the music fits fine with... Oh, wrong one. The music fits fine with the proceedings, including the score. Weirdly enough, there was an Atari video game of this. where you're supposed to go up and then get to Porky's place and hit the dynamite. And there's actually the video game sales pitch on this DVD. I'm surprised this doesn't have more of a special edition. Like, this does have features, got a commentary and an interview with Bob Clark. Porky's a comedy classic. That's mainly like two people who had nothing to do with the film. They're just being interviewed as to why they like the movie. But I guess because this film has gone down in popularity, no one ever talks about the flick. No one ever mentions the flick. If they do, they look down at it as sexist. I'm like, give me a fucking break. Seriously. Chill out, chill out, Francis. I mean, just, come on. But yeah, I don't know what else to say other than repeat myself. I found quite a few of the dads funny. It kept at a good pace of 90-some minutes long. And overall, it still got some chuckles and laughs out of me, and the movie itself, I would definitely say it's the funniest of the three. Even though I said it's tame of today's standards, I would say of the three, this seemed the more raw of the three Porky's movies. And I kind of miss movies like this, where there's that balance where, yes, it's raunchy and raw, but it's not going too over the top so it just becomes redundant, and any shot factor gets lessened more and more offensive stuff I'm supposed to watch. Whether because of watching films like Freddy Got Fingered, the Tom Green stuff, all the Jackass stuff, which I do like some of those movies, like I mentioned. And I don't know, I almost missed the days of Porky's. Probably won't see him again. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.